My message for this new year is as follows. In Jewish mysticism, which is my field, I have a website, Kabbalah Wisdom. I've written over 20 books. And there is an important, what we call a mimer. It's literally a divine revelation. You want to call it a discourse. And the Rebbe Rashab, one of the great masters, says that there is an evil force in the universe. And this force seeks to create division. The America that I grew up in didn't have division. In fact, if you go to my website, thepartyofus.org, you'll see, based on extensive Pew polling for many, many, many years, back decades, America basically were in agreement. Both the right, the left, they were actually all to the center. And then along came some Nazi. And the very, very important thing to understand, the soul of evil, it's always one thing. It's actually jealousy of love. And that's what this Nazi did, which is he started to focus not on what we have in common, but on what is evil with the other. This is exactly what Hitler did to Germany. He started not to focus on what's good for all Germans. He started to focus that there's a group of Germans that are the problem. And Obama did the same thing in America. It's a Nazi approach, and the result of that is, if you look at the Pew poll now, the left has basically become, like him, arrogant and judgmental. They're not looking out for the betterment of the country. They take, and this is very important because people think, oh wow, they have these ideals. The ideals themselves are their weapons of destruction. In other words, Hitler couldn't come around and say, come, let's go kill Jews. So he had to say, Jews are a problem to Germany, to the world, and therefore we have to kill them. The same thing is with this radical movement, which is saying, oh, well, these guys, they're against some kind of, I don't know, somebody having some kind of perverted sex, so therefore we got to destroy them. And so they're all about, really, even their ideals, so to say, are all about weapons in order to get rid of good people, or basically just to create hate in the world. Because jealousy of love is just that. It's like a bully. Why does a bully, basically what is a bully? A bully is somebody that's mean to people. Why? Because he's jealous of love. He feels, probably correctly so, that it's unfair that you feel the joy of love while he feels the sting of shame. Remember that line. He feels it's unfair that you feel the joy of love while he feels the sting of shame. And so we have to recognize, in order to kill a cancer, you have to recognize that it exists. And therefore, it's fundamentally critical to understand that this hatred, which is a jealousy of love, and the thing about jealousy is it masquerades itself. It masquerades itself as justice. But if one truly loves another person, they're not really bothered by the evil in the other person. And the fact of the matter is, that's why it says in the Bible, love another person as much as you love. It doesn't even say as much. It says love another person as you love yourself. Why does it say as? Because we still love ourselves even if we do something wrong. Okay, let's say I know I should diet, or I know I should exercise more. Does that mean I don't love myself? Why? Because if there's a fundamental love to myself, then I forgive myself. And it's only when there's a fundamental hate that I am critical. Again, this is so important to understand because I'm sure in life, as studies show, you've been bullied and you have picked up unnecessary shame. But you have to understand, if somebody shamed you, it's only because they were jealous of the love in your heart. It's exactly like Harry Potter. Why was Voldemort against Harry? Because Harry had his mother's love, and Voldemort did not. He was abandoned. And it's the same thing with Obama. He was an abandoned child. He wrote a book called Dreams of My Father. And you may ask, why do I speak about him? Because he divided America and the world. And that's a very, very bad thing. And I think that this coronavirus, everything comes from God. Ultimately, God is our Father. He created everyone and everything. Each one of us has a part in His beautiful world. You matter. Whether you're male, whether you're female, even whether you're an animal, a plant, a tree, a rock, whatever you are, you matter into the cosmic story. And so therefore, what's really, really important to understand is that we are part of the same story. I say history is His story. God has a story. And in the story, it's like a car. Which part is more important? Is it the wheel? Is it the steering wheel? Is it the dashboard? Well, you need all the parts. And only when you have all the parts can the entire car be a functional machine. And so the same thing we must understand is the absolute truth of what this world is. We are all parts of the story, of His story. We're all parts of history. We're making history. And in fact, it's just going to get better and better and better. As we come into the new year, let us focus on the amazing miracle of modern reality. For the first time in thousands of years in all of human history that most people have food on the table, that they can educate their children, that they could live longer lives, that they're living under freedom. We are living in the most blessed times. Let us not allow certain people that unfortunately were abandoned as child, cast aside, and they basically are jealous of love and their minds, and it's not even their fault. They can't help themselves. I went through a stage of this, so I know it internally. The mind literally comes up with reasons, moral reasons, to shame the other person. Now, using myself as an example, thank God I'm in a happy place. So therefore, I don't think of reasons to shame people. In fact, I try to help people. But the point is that the mind is basically a computer, and it's serving the heart. It's serving the desires of the heart. So when the heart seeks love, so then, like they say, love is blind. Somebody in love, they don't see anything wrong with the other. So we can actually tell what our heart is seeking by what we see in others. If we go around and we just see evil in others, that's because we ourselves are seeking to be mean. And if we see good in others, it's because we ourselves are seeking love. And it has to do with our own self-perception. Do I perceive myself as a good person, or have I integrated some bully's shame and I perceive myself as a bad person and I'm jealous of those that perceive themselves in a positive way? And so therefore, to conclude my message to you, and I'd like you to please share this message if you think it has value and it can help others, is you are His story. You are history. You are an integral part to the entire story of reality. If you weren't, you wouldn't be here. Every single second, every atom in your body, there are more atoms in your body than stars in the universe, is recreated from God. There's not a single moment that you don't you're reborn every nanosecond, billions of times. And that means you are a choice. You're not a random event. You're a choice of God. Now, part of God's desire is that you should have free choice. So that's why you don't realize it. But the science and the Kabbalah clearly says that you are 100% recreated. In fact, the whole universe is recreated every second, billions of times. So that means you're not random. You're chosen. You're chosen by God to be here. Now, you have to figure out exactly what your mission is. It took me many years. I discovered I have a talent in teaching Jewish mysticism, and I do that. I don't get paid for it, but I love it, and it helps people. It makes me feel good. So that's my mission. You have to discover your mission. Obviously, if you're a woman and you can have children, I mean, you can bring life into the world. I can't do that. I wish I could do that. That's amazing. Who knows what your mission is? You have a mission. If you're a Jew, there's 613 commandments. If you're a Gentile, you go to asknoah.org, 7 commandments, whatever it is. But the bottom line is that you're chosen and you have a mission. And when we do that, we understand, number one, I matter. Number two, everybody else matters. And number three, we're complementary. We're not in competition with one another. Your ego is not against me. I'm happy for you to succeed. I'm happy for you to have pride in your life. I'm happy for you to be able to contribute. That contributes to my pride. That makes me happy that you can be a success, that you can love yourself. And together, we're going to usher in the Messianic redemption when there will be no more war, when we'll realize that we're all complementary parts. We're all like a beautiful tapestry with all these beautiful colors and beautiful little quilts. We're all these little parts of this beautiful, beautiful picture called humanity.